Fino has fought his way through this tournament, and with a 12-0 undefeated match record, he has found his spot in the finals. And now we're going to find out who he is going to be playing against for the DreamHack Montreal 2018 championship title. Will it be Galen or will it be Justsaiyan? To bring you guys all of the action for this semifinal number 2 match will be Lorinda and Firebat back on the desk. This is going to be a good one here. We haven't gotten to see much of Galen so far in the tournament, but kind of quietly off stream, he's been doing some work. Got a win against G in the quarterfinals. Finds himself here going up against Saiyan.
Yeah, he was here last night, congratulated on reaching the top 16 by one of the production, and said, doesn't mean anything. I've got to win, or it doesn't mean a thing. So Galen is absolutely pumped to try and win this one. And Saiyan, he's going to keep himself together. He sort of won his final by beating Hunter Ace for the first time this year. He's got to not let that get to him. He's got to just stay calm, play Hearthstone, do what he does best. He's
a really calm guy, though. If you ever talk to Saiyan, he's very deep and philosophical, and usually very well-tempered kind of guy. So I imagine he's going to have his nerves under control. Both of these players are really great. I've played with both of them multiple times in practice groups on stream and things like that, so I have some first-hand experience playing alongside both of them, so it's kind of interesting to watch them clash. So if you get this one wrong, then it's entirely, just bad judgment. I guess. I'm not doing so well on the predictions second half of the way through this tournament here. Yeah, that's what comes with gloating too much in the first couple of days.
Jeez, you get one wrong and suddenly it's not doing too good.
Well, I got 2 wrong now. Both times when the matchups were saying that Fino would lose, he was able to win.
Well, I think that
Fino's good. Yeah,
it's going to drill that lesson into your head. Never bet against Fino.
Apparently not, yeah.
Now, this is going to be a really nice matchup. Galen plays for Gamers Origin, a little bit less well-known than Justsaiyan, who obviously is a player for Tempo Storm, and has several semifinal finishes in tour stops this year, of which you are very familiar. Yeah, I have a look every now and again. Spin Zone. He came second to... He lost in the semi-finals in Seoul to Hunter Ace, and then he lost in the semi-finals in Italy to Hunter Ace. But no Hunter Ace around this time for Saiyan, so that roadblock is out of the way. But Galen has a 69% win rate in matches this year before this tournament, so he's well into the 70s now. And Galen is somebody you will know his voice, but probably won't know what he looks like because he appears on a lot of streams as guest. He's usually on Zalay's stream or my stream or Purple's stream. He plays in our practice group all the time. So people we've never heard of.
What we call our practice group in Merge, but I think we're called Team Wiener or something is the practice group that you say that so begrudgingly, as if you've been forced to accept this name.
As if Team Wiener versus Team Dusky Boys isn't the biggest rivalry that we have ever had in Hearthstone since Archon versus Tempo Storm back in 2015.
Galen's a proud member of Team Wiener, the practice group, so...
All right, we've got the picks and bans ready. Let's go see what this winner has brought and what his opponent has banned away. The Druid for Galen will be off the table. Saiyan will not have the Warlock. And Saiyan, of course, with that Tempo Storm lineup, Rogue, Druid, Hunter. Galen with Rogue, Warlock, Warrior.
And the Warlock ban here makes a lot of sense. You want to get rid of it. It has a lot of favorables in the field, and namely, it's pretty good against the Zoo with that sack-packed tech included in there from the Tempo Storm lineup. And meanwhile, from Galen's side, he's playing all the aggro decks except for he's also playing Odd Warrior with them. And inside all of the aggro decks, he's playing Tar Creepers. So it's aggro to beat aggro, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really cute. They obviously decided aggro was very big for this tournament. So what are you going to do? No, let's play aggro. What we're going to do about what we're going to do about our opponents? No, let's stop them from beating us.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like a good way to make a lineup.
And clearly, it's worked out for him quite well. We didn't get to see his previous matches, but G, his opponent, was bringing a full aggro lineup, very similar to Impacts, which we just saw Fino win against in semifinal number 1. So Galen's lineup should have been pitched perfectly to beat G in the quarterfinals, and we saw he did win 3-1, so it looked like it was a pretty easy series for him. This one is going to be a lot less straightforward. This is an opponent that the world knows. This is an opponent who already has some solid tour stop finishes this year. And this is an opponent that Galen considers a friend. So we want to know from you guys, is it going to be #Galen, the underdog, but a player with a lot of DreamHack experience who certainly deserves this win? Or is it going to be Justsaiyan after David bested his Goliath in that previous match? Now he's got to take down Galen before he can go up against Fino in the finals. And it's looking like you are favoring Justsaiyan, but this one could be pretty close. How about you, Lorinda? Who are you giving your bid to here?
I mean, Galen always hassles me to put him on the stats. He's always like 0.1% off the bottom of the page, and he hassles me and hassles me. So I'm just going to keep annoying him. I'm going to pick Saiyan, who I think's had a fantastic year. I would love to see Saiyan or Fino win this event. Galen would be a worthy winner too, but I think Saiyan has got so close so many times. I would like to see him, so I'm going to go with what I want to happen.
How about you, Firebat?
Oh, I guess I'll pick the opposite. I'll say Galen. I'm a little afraid to pick Galen because it seems like whoever I pick lately happens to lose.
Yeah,
that's... So I feel like I might be cursing people at the moment, but I think the lineup is pretty solid. He's got fairly good odds of making things happen here. It's tough to say, really, on lineups. It's very close, I would say, and I think Galen's a little bit maybe hungrier than Saiyan is. He's a smaller name,
that's a good word for it.
He's a guy that just refuses to lose. He, you know, you heard him yesterday. He really wants to win this, and I think that's what's going to push him over the edge.
If it was Hunter Ace on the other side of the bracket in the finals, there would be nobody hungrier than Justsaiyan. But now that Saiyan's had that little victory, you know, Galen is the one that needs that reputation booster. He needs a little bit of validity to his name, and he's certainly got the respect of the community and his awesome practice group behind his side, but definitely he could use that little bit of a boost. I, however, for the sake of a damn good storyline, want to see Team Tempo Storm going up against Team Fate to Karma, and I want to see this team standing rivalry come to a head. I think it's going to be Justsaiyan, but what do you guys at home think it is going to be? We've got the final poll results here. Saiyan was a little bit in the lead, but Galen only just a little bit behind, and you can see the desk here favoring Justsaiyan in a 2-1 vote, but Firebat was correct all of yesterday and all of the day before. So we are not going to count Galen out just yet. Justsaiyan with a 59% to 41% for Galen. It looks like the audience is going to be favoring Saiyan just a little bit, but we are all agreeing that this one is going to be close.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be exciting too. I think he's saying that Galen's got a lot to prove. I think Saiyan feels he's got a lot to prove. He hasn't won anything. He's the most DreamHack wins ever. He's made those semi-finals I'm talking about. Yeah, he overtook Tars yesterday.
No, he did?
Finally, yeah, after somebody, I mean, Tars was so far clear, but Saiyan's had an amazing year. But I think that Saiyan actually has got something to prove. Like, do you lose in semi-finals or do you lose because it's Hunter Ace? Make your mind up.
Yeah, I guess. Are you a choke artist or not? Kind of, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Sottle tried that with somebody once. And then Muzzy won the next 27 tournaments or something.
Yeah, we don't ever want to be associated with that ever again. So we're just going to say that this is going to be a very good match. You are not going to want to miss it. So right now we're going to find out who will be playing against Fino in the DreamHack Montreal 2018 finals. Will it be Galen or will it be Justsaiyan?
And so it begins. We're very near now to the players starting. They are sat in the booths and just about ready to go. Firebat's made his prediction of Galen, but I think we both agreed, like, caster picks aside, that this is going to be very interesting and very tight.
Yeah, sometimes you get some lineups where you can look at it and you can say, oh, that guy is going to win like 75% of the time, and this is not one of those cases. Day 1 and day 2 of the tournament, when we had some players bringing weaker lineups with holes in them, you could identify those holes and quickly make those predictions. That's why I was able, for day 1 and day 2 of the tournament, to get every single prediction right. But now we're getting to the spot where we have all players with really refined lineups, and it's really hard to say. So let's just get into it and see what happens.
Game number 1, it is going to be the Odd Rogue deck that surprised, I think, how well it has performed in this tournament to some degree.
A little bit, yeah. A lot of players going into this tournament were saying that Odd Rogue is becoming one of the weaker aggro decks. It's starting to fall off, yada, yada. And I think a part of that was a lot of players were playing double Blood Knight and things, and like double MC tech was in everything. And
the rise of Quest Rogue as well, a big deal. Like, you can't play Quest Rogue and Odd Rogue, at least not yet.
Right, yeah. That's also true, so you kind of have to pick one or the other, and everyone thought maybe Quest Rogue's just a better choice, but so far as the top 16's developed here, it's seeming like most players are having Odd Rogue in their lineup.
Going to find out in the final which is the best deck once and for all. It's going to be Quest Rogue and Odd Rogue, whoever gets through this.
Yeah, because that's how those get compared, right?
That's definitely how we do maths around here.
So the differences in the tech lists are not very much. There's 1 Tar Creeper in the list for Saiyan, and there's 2 Tar Creepers in the list for Galen. And
well, Saiyan has a card in his hand that he doesn't want there, and then Galen hasn't got, which is the coin.
The coin, yeah. The coin's pretty good in this matchup, actually. Coin Vilespine's real, especially when you're playing Scalebanes, which Galen's list includes. Scalebanes get absolutely blown out by the Vilespine Slayers. One thing to note as well, Saiyan has Myra's Unstable Element. Galen does not have Myra's Unstable Element.
So even if he gets behind, he has that sort of final throw for one last chance, which can do a lot of damage when you get later into the game.
Right.
And it's not often that somebody just destroys the other player in this. It's weird, one of those things that happens with aggro mirrors where you don't hit each other in the face for the first 5 turns for much damage at all. It's
a lot of trading back and forth. Usually one person kind of pulls ahead when they get like a Hench Clan Thug as a 4/4 to stick when there's no like Deadly or Deckhand to trade it up.
Yeah, and then it does snowball because you disable their dagger because they can't afford to keep hitting you with their face because you're giving the minion a free hit on your face if it goes too far down that route.
And then one player plays like the Desperation Giggling Inventor to try and slow down the pressure, and then they get Blood Knighted, and then, you know.
And that's the end of that.
Yeah. So I'm probably not going to go with the Argent Squire plus Flame Elemental here, 1, because you want to get the dagger up, and 2, you're just really afraid of getting Blood Knighted. If you get Blood Knighted with the coin Blood Knight there, you probably just lose the game on the spot. So Justsaiyan has to respond with his own dagger.
Neither player with the power 3 drops, both with these Tar Creepers, and this is, of course, the good thing normally. It's going to slow your opponent down, but also it slows you down when you don't draw the other cards.
Its best use is when it's actually protecting something, not when it's the only minion on the field. You
want it to be 1/5.
Yeah, you want it to be protecting some other minion to be serving its purpose. But a 1/5's not bad. The upside of the 1/5 is there's no way for Justsaiyan to remove this easily. Like, he can't deckhand and dagger it down. So it's going to persist on the board and allow for Fungalmancer / Scalebane to be active going forward.
Tar Creeper versus Tar Creeper usually takes a little while to resolve. They just sort of look at each other. No one wants to attack in and take the extra 2 damage, so...
Oh, there it goes. That's so much for taking a long time to resolve.
Yeah, that's sorted that one out.
Yeah. He's going with the Argent Squire, too, so the Blood Knight's going to be a big deal if it's there. You know, he wants to get more minions in play setting up for this Fungalmancer. He kind of has to accept the downside of Blood Knight if it happens.
Yeah, do you take it? I assume you do. You're a bit scared that the next turn's giggling and then you've given them that, but it doesn't really matter.
There's a 1 of giggling now. A lot of Odd Rogue players have adjusted from previous to this tournament. I'd say almost everyone was playing 2 gigglings, and now during this tournament, everyone's playing only the 1 giggling.
Too many Mossy Horrors and such like
and
about
Blood Knights. And yeah, MC Tax, just all of the tech choices that exist really make it less appealing to play that giggling inventor.
Important here for saying not only is he starting to sneak ahead on board, but also he's preserved the coin in doing so. Obviously, that's what he's tried to do, but the fact he's managed to is going to be a big deal for him. And Galen has no activator for his Vilespine, and Saiyan has like 12 for his.
Yeah. This is going to be bad news bears for Galen, because he has to kind of play this Scalebane here, and then he's going to get Vilespine. I guess he could technically Fungalmancer trade, but man, does that look bad. Nothing looks particularly exciting.
Yeah, I mean, his hand adds up to 20 mana and he has 5.
Do you ever Leroy the 6/6?
He might have to. I mean, you just don't like it, of course. And it takes away the fear factor as well. Saiyan can then go a bit lower on health knowing it's not coming. But how do you deal with this 6/6 if you don't do that?
Yeah, Fungalmancer trade seems worse than Leroy it. Scalebane seems like best case scenario for you. You get value traded on board. So that's not good. Your opponent just daggers and clears the board. And that's best case scenario if they have nothing. So as silly as it sounds, I really want to Leroy this Blood Knight.
Yeah, I do too. And that's why he's taking so long, because it just feels so alien. But the Blood Knight being so powerful against this Divine Shield has forced Galen to Leroy a minion. And that opens up so many opportunities for Saiyan, as does this pickup, because now he can just start to get massive control of the board.
Well, there's a 4 damage dagger up for Galen. So playing a playing the Hench Clan Thug on this board is a little scary, as it just kind of dies. So I like this play by Justsaiyan, just going wide, recognizing that, hey, your 4-power dagger, you're going to have to use it because you're under so much pressure. Well, I'm going to force you to use it on something that's not very good for you, and then play my minions afterwards, try and outvalue you.
Now, Galen knows that Saiyan has the Thug from that last play because he didn't attack him with his own dagger.
Yeah, you can assume that it
He
may
doesn't
be
know
there,
because there's bluff elements, possibilities, but realistically, you know, you've got to really be careful now.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, and Gallon is dead.
I mean, all of his cards need other minions to function, and Saiyan is just going to massacre him here.
He's got another Vile Spine, too, to just keep this rolling. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah. There's not even, like, some surprise damage out, because Leroy's gone. Plus, your opponent's on 27 health.
You just kind of, you played the Argent Squire. You kind of have to play the Argent Squire, otherwise you're going to lose to other cards from your opponent. And then they had the Blood Knight. Blood Knight on anything is a ridiculous tempo swing in a mirror match like this.
And then he drew terribly after that as well, just in case.
Yeah. Just no favors for him this game for sure. So a little bit of a boring way to open up the series, but you know, sometimes that's how these mirrors boil down.
Yeah, now saying is in that mode where, okay, how do I lose? Go take my time, make sure nothing goes stupid, but basically play 2 of these cards and you'll be fine.
Yeah, he's just so far ahead on board, it's absurd. And he has the Vile Spine left over to push through any sort of taunts that he needs to. Yeah, Gallon's just going to tap out on that one.
It's a big deal. It means that Saiyan gets a chance to just go through the lineup. He probably won't because there's some bad matchups there, but that's the thing you get when you win the mirror in this. In Conquest, it's not so important because your opponent then gets to use their best deck and just beat one of your decks and it all equals out. But in LHS, you get that free roll at just winning the Hearthstone.
Winning the Hearthstone is pretty good. Gallon's Druid's banned away from him, so Token Druid's not going to be the counter that comes out here. Not going to be Zoo. Zoo's typically unfavored against Odd Rogue, so that leaves you with pretty much just the Odd Warrior unless he's saving it for something specific. And not really. The Odd Warrior has a pretty good matchup against the Token Druid, so you'd like to maybe get that as well. But it also has a really good matchup against the Odd Rogue, so you're not too sad seeing it.
Saiyan's Hunter is now in prime position, though.
It's, yeah, the Hunter comes out to kill the Odd Warrior after this, and then Zoo comes out to kill the Hunter, and then it actually still ends with Gallon having a favorable of the Zoo against the Token. So he's not in too bad of a spot.
That's when you go, like, if you always win your 55 and 60% line.
Right. He's got the Zoo is not super favored against the Token Druid or the Hunter, but it is favored. So he does have like 2 favorables, but he does have to win more total games.
And we saw that from one of the lineups yesterday. I forget who's just for a moment, but they were unfavored against Zoo, but not by much in
all of the games.
But if they won the Zoo match, then they were going to win, and eventually...
I think that was PNC's lineup. Yeah.
Eventually you just win the Zoo deck match, like with your 45 or 40%, and then you're fine because the rest of your lineup is geared to beat anybody who built a Zoo lineup.
Right.
Of course, occasionally it didn't work out for him every time. That's the problem when you have 40%ers all the time, but it was a nice way to build your lineup.
It's definitely interesting to try and go for, you know, non-counters, but just have a sheer number of them that
are good enough.
Yeah, good enough that you don't have to worry about a deck. So the way this matchup typically works out is the Rogue has a really hard time doing anything. They try and play stuff, and then the Warrior kills all of it, and then the Rogue's out of cards. And then
it plays Myras, and then it doesn't draw enough.
And then it concedes, yeah. It's just, the Warrior has so much armor and so much removal. They have Gluttonous Oozes, the Dynamatics. He's not even keeping both Dynamatics. He wants to get some other cards to go alongside of it.
Their cards.
Some techs in here like Whirlwind and Barongeddon, which can be kind of helpful, I guess, but their main purpose in life would be for against the Token Druid. Picking up the Super Collider is also just huge in this matchup. That card is so good at destroying mid-rangey threat boards.
Yeah, and the Shield Slam as well, of course.
Yeah, those are all, like, every card in Gallon's hand is perfect for the matchup. You couldn't expect a better 4-card hand. 5-card hand.
Yeah, just lacking Dr. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Wow. Players have been drawing well today. And on the other side of things, Justsaiyan's hand is atrocious.
Yeah, just in case he needed that fast start, here's a 1-drop and a dagger. And the dagger's always there, like the quest.
Right. He's going to need to draw something to help himself out. He does have Vicious Fledglings in the build, which are one of the ways you can kind of win when you get one of those to stick. But looking at the removal hand from Gallon, I don't think a single minion's going to really stick for much of the game. Yeah, besides maybe these 1-drops. But pretty soon, everything is just going to get cleared forever.
Yeah, this was Saiyan's freebie. This was his sort of the benefit of winning that first game, gave him a chance of going through the lineup. But
Yeah.
That chance has rapidly turned to not much chance at all.
Yeah, and if Gallon takes this game, evening up the score there, I'd say he's got an advantage in the series. Just because the way the counter cues go up against each other as it goes out.
And, I mean, there's very little to say here.
A dagger pass.
Yeah.
Play a 1-drop. Pry a little inside.
So Gallon needs to make sure that next turn he's able to deal with the board. So developing the minion, getting rid of the dagger, all that good stuff. Should allow him to do that. Super Collider coming down, so if you get rid of the Divine Shield, you're good.
It's going to be a sweet dagger turn again. As the aggro deck, you generally don't want a hero power for the first 3 turns of the game like that, while developing only 1-drops.
And Justsaiyan is going to get a Fungal Mancer down. Yeah. That's something.
Good positioning there for the Fungal Mancer, setting up the 1/3 minions next to each other. Same stats go next to each other for maximum amount of options, because then you can buff 2 of the same stats, or 1 of one stats, 1 of the other stats. You get like double as many options.
Will you get 3 minions? Will you get 2? Yeah.
You're swinging away with the Super Colliders. He's got so many charges that you might as well.
Yeah, and so much health that it doesn't matter. So.
Right. He's got the shield block. He's got the tank up hero power. Health for days. So he can clear the entire board now with this setup using the Dynamatic on the next turn. So he's kind of setting up for if Fungal Mancer happens, how do I have a way to clear it? And the answer is 2 supercharged swings and then the Dynamatic. So well done by Gallon there, setting up to just deal with the minions on curve.
Yeah, and Saiyan's hand did develop a little bit there temporarily, and now if he hadn't got the Vile Spine, he'd be completely in the dumpster. As it is, he's kind of in the dumpster.
Well, his board's going to die again. Pretty close to, anyway.
Yeah, who needs Brawl and Spot Removal when you have Super Collider?
Yeah, he can just Super Collider and Shield Slam if he wants. The Fiery War Axe being picked up, too. More removal.
Keep an eye on the burst damage. It's accumulating in Saiyan's hand. Of course, that also means that he hasn't got anything to play.
He's going to run out of minions really quick.
But he has got that Myra's, which maybe can find double Cold Blood to go on this Leroy.
He could. Very well could. Myra's is a very key card.
This is nice.
The Ooze is gone. The 2 Deadlies is a lot of damage. It paves the way for the Vile Spine to be able to connect here. You definitely go for that. You've already seen the Ooze. There's only 1 Ooze in Gallon's deck. Yeah,
and the health total, Gallon hasn't, with all this removal, he hasn't had the chance to be able to tank up, so he has taken hits. And again, it's still difficult, but Saiyan is going to have a good throw in the dark and hope for the best at this one.
Yeah, Gallon kind of needs to Shield Slam this to respect like Leroy Coldblood, right? Leroy Coldblood, 16 points of damage.
And he might have to really respect Leroy the next turn because Myra's could well be played.
It was looking really good for Gallon, but the way that the draws are shaping up for Saiyan, he's finding the damage.
You find that happens sometimes with the bad draws. It sounds weird, but the Warrior doesn't really have much to do to clear at 1/1s. It doesn't use... Yeah, it's not fun for the Warrior to bother doing that.
Right.
It's not worth its time. And suddenly you explode over 2 or 3 turns into Fungal Mancers and real cards. And it can just make an issue, but that double Deadly Poison pickup has really given Saiyan a fighting chance.
Now he just needs the Captain Greenskin.
That would be amazing. That would be so much damage, an extra 8 damage.
Yeah, that would be absurd. Just the tank up, not willing to throw the Shield Slam into the 3/3 just yet.
Myra here, and if you can pick up a Cold Blood, there's a lot of damage to just go into the face here.
There's 1 Cold Blood.
Can he get another? There's a Greenskin. Bit late.
Deckhand and a Cold Blood, so that's 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 6. Pretty close. Not all the way there.
Yeah, 11 plus 6 isn't as much as 13 plus 9. That's how I went with that one.
Yeah. You don't need to know all the math. You just look at the 2 numbers and compare. So then you want to take a play onto the board here. Maybe double Firefly. Yeah. He's going to commit the Cold Blood now. Try and make it so that Gallon has to remove this minion. Also peels back the armor, maybe making it a little more awkward to develop the Shield Slam.
Now he's got to think about Greenskin. If he goes face for the 6 now, it's nice and clean, but if he waits for the Greenskin, it's all that extra damage. 1 more on the initial charge, then 7 on the second charge.
Yeah, I think you wait for the Greenskin. You've seen the Ooze. Let's go Greenskin.
Yeah.
He really wants to swing.
I mean, you do your opponent's on 13, you can take down half of his health.
Yeah. He's going for it.
He's got a lot going on.
So now the greenskin's going to be a lot less effective, but he's looking to try and never have to play greenskin this game. He wants to re-dagger Leroy deckhand next turn for the killing blow.
I think Galen's lost about a foot in height during this, looking at the picture. Yeah. He started off sort of turn by turn, he's lost like a couple of inches just getting sort of into the computer.
His hand was like one of the best warrior hands for this matchup, and it's a very heavily
was awful.
Yeah, and Saiyan's was very bad, but you know, he drew out of it. He was able to find those deadly poisons. Everything just kind of started lining up towards it, and Galen was saving back a lot of removals. He's had the shield slam since the opening. It's still there. Yeah. He wanted a higher value target to shield slam. He could have shield slammed this Vile Spine 3 turns ago.
He's done a lot of damage in that time.
Yeah, it has.
He really has.
Just waiting for a better target, and it turns out maybe he waited too long.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah.
6 from Leroy, and there's all sorts of other
6,
stuff.
7, 8,
you can do
9,
daggers
10.
and deckhands and SI7s. And this is going to be 2-0 to Saiyan. That free chance that he bought winning the mirror has gone beyond a free chance. He is in a fantastic spot to reach his first final of the year.
Yeah. Winning the unfavorable there, absolutely huge. Galen now has only his Zoo Warlock left, and Zoo Warlock is not good against Odd Rogue. Zoo Warlock plays a lot of minions that just get cleaned up by the hero power of the Odd Rogue, which then allows the Odd Rogue to explode on tempo, get ahead of the Zoo Warlock, and then close the game before the Zoo Warlock can life tap into resources that can keep up enough.
So Keleseth is a massive, massive deal here to get everything out of the dagger range, and suddenly you can start occupying the board with those pesky 3-4 chain gangs, and your world is a nice one. So we might even see a full mull for almost anything that isn't Keleseth getting thrown away.
Yeah, Keleseth is very strong. Soulfire is not a bad one to have in this matchup. Being able to clean up the Hench Clan Thug early on is really important. The Tar Creeper in general to protect your small 1-drops from the dagger is really strong in this matchup. But, you know, you kind of need the 1-drop first before either of those things. You want a 1-drop plus like the Tar Creeper or the Soulfire. So it's kind of interesting he has Tar Creeper, Soulfire. I do think you mulligan all of them in order to try and find the 1-drops, but those are some of the key cards in the matchup.
Yeah, so he's having to think how much of that he's willing to have to redraw. And like you say, you want that Keleseth, or like I was saying. And
yeah, you want Keleseth, 1-drop, Soulfire, Tar Creeper kind of stuff. He is keeping Soul Infusion.
So he's going to go for a huge blocky Tar Creeper and hope it just doesn't get blown up, or hope it buys him enough time to develop a huge board and defend himself from the dagger. Yeah,
a little scary when your opponent's on point, because Coin Vile Spine's a real play they could make at some point later on, but it's not too bad. He is playing the Tar Creeper lineup, so...
Yeah, if he can develop behind that Tar Creeper before Coin Vile Spine, he might just have a big enough board. That's the plan, but the downside when you keep a Tar Creeper, you might do another one.
And it costs 3, and you might not have anything going on until you get there, so he's just going to be playing 2-1s, it looks like, but I support keeping the Tar Creeper. It's kind of what your lineup's aiming to do, and it's one of the ways that you can alleviate the pressure of this dagger.
Yeah, Galen's very good as an analytical player. He'll have studied mulligans and stuff for a long time going into this tournament, I should think.
I mean, all the players probably have at this point. Yeah,
I mean, this top 8 was basically completely stacked.
Oh, I thought that was Keleseth. I saw the 2 when he was playing it off the top really quickly. He's got a Flame Imp now.
And this dagger's going to start doing its work. If he wants to, I mean, there's other options. He's got his own Tar Creeper available.
No,
but you start getting rid of things where it's there, because Zoo does do naughty things.
Yeah.
Like stick gigantic Tar Creepers in your way.
Yeah, so if he puts his own Tar Creeper in the way now, you know, he stops a bunch of damage for a turn maybe, but it doesn't really accelerate him in tempo. He doesn't pull ahead on the board by that. Whereas the dagger now sets up for him to be able to play the Hench Clan Thug and swing again, killing another minion, pulling ahead in tempo. And we're going to probably see the Tar Creeper come down to prevent that.
The right-hand one.
The right-hand one, yeah. Because he wants to get Soul Infusion big Tar Creeper on the turn after, I imagine. Or maybe not. He might just say, you know what, left-hand Tar Creeper so I can Soul Infusion, get a big Voodoo Doctor afterwards, and put pressure on that way. But I do like doing this way better. I think the whole purpose of his mulligan, right, is to get this turn 4 super 3/7 Tar Creeper.
And the whole purpose of his deck is to play those Tar Creepers, like you were saying. Like, I think they're pretty proud of this idea of just sticking Tar Creeper in everything, and wanting this meta to do what it's doing. Purple was doing well in the Swiss as well, with the same lineup for the longest time.
Yeah, same exact lineup. I think every card's
17th, I'm not sure.
Yeah, 17th on tiebreakers.
Always nice.
It was eliminated from the top 16 by the tiebreakers, unfortunately.
And Saiyan playing the same lineup as Amnesiac, who did make the top 16, but went out in that round. So
yeah,
teams and lineups battling each other as well as just players these days.
He has the Tar Creeper play now with the Soul Infusion. Also has the Voodoo Doctor that could come down to heal the Tar Creeper after taking out the opponent's minion. This is the thing about taunt minions, right? The first taunt minion's really good because it protects a bunch of stuff. The second
so
taunt
does
minion,
nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything because there's already a taunt minion protecting all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to you the other day, half tongue-in-cheek, but half serious. Like, if Giggling Inventor had Taunt itself, it'd probably be a worse card.
Yes,
you
probably.
kill it off and they can't bounce it and do all that good stuff.
Yeah, the 2/1 body would die so much easier.
Well, Galen has assembled a board, but is it a fighting force? I'm not so sure.
It's wide, that's for sure.
Yeah, Rogue doesn't like wide boards, in fairness.
Yeah, they really do not. Justsaiyan has no Vile Spine Slayer to coin out here.
Is he working out whether it's worth just wasting a deadly poison here and only having one charge with it?
It's got to be, right?
SI7 looks pretty tasty if you can activate it. Seems a good way to do so.
Take out one of these 2/1s, alleviate some of the pressure on the board. Gonna go with the Hench Clan Thug.
Yeah, that alleviates pressure because it terrifies your opponent.
Right, you're threatening to grow this behind your Tar Creeper, maybe incentivize them to have to plow through the Tar Creeper. It's a lot of deciding when is the correct opportunity to blow through the taunts.
Ah, Soulfire.
Yeah.
With a hand that isn't that great.
It's a little weird here, right?
The trouble is, if you lose the if you lose the demon, then your game is over. But it is only a 1 in 3, and yeah, Galen is aware that he probably has to Soulfire here, and he can tap Soulfire. That helps him. You never like to have to make this decision, and this is where I feel that lack of screen time is sometimes a factor. Someone like Saiyan will just sit back, know the right decision is probably the Soulfire.
Well,
Galen, I think, is just going to spend 30 seconds here.
I have no idea.
Trying to suck up into, I've got to do it.
I don't know if it's the Soulfire is the right decision or not. It's just, you don't get to develop anything behind it this turn. Like, what are you tapping into? You'd have to tap into a 1-drop to be able to have any sort of play on the field this turn. So maybe it's not the Soulfire turn. What if you just Despicable Dreadlord and pass? Then if the Hench Clan Thug grows from you know, the dagger charge, then you can Soulfire at the turn afterwards.
He's just going to put everything in here to get rid of this board, okay.
I don't know if I like this. I think
this is a lot of resources.
I think it was maybe too early to break the board tension. I think the standstill might have been a little bit better for him. And just,
yeah.
I think he had to play the Despicable Dreadlord, but I think it was a Despicable Dreadlord in weight still. He's obviously afraid of, you know, the Hench Clan Thug growing in one way or another, potentially the Fungomancer being able to come out, stuff like that.
He has kind of just about got rid of the hero power of Saiyan. Not quite, but Saiyan can't take too much more damage from this, but he doesn't need to. Galen hasn't got a minion in his hand.
Well, Galen could easily get the Doom Guard in his hand and then double buff it and
changes things in a hurry too.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, with Galen's list, he's running 1 copy of Doomguard, no Leroy.
I'm always interested by that. So people say, oh, like Doomguard or Leroy, blah, 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 discussion. But when you take out Leroy, you put in 2 Doomguards.
Usually, yeah. So
does that make sense, though? I mean, what Galen's doing actually logically makes more sense than taking out 1 charge minion and putting in 2 that hate each other.
Right. Yeah, it's not always done, but it's starting to become more of a trend. The 1 Doomguard zoo.
So I don't play Doomguards because they discard each other. Well, just play 1, then it's just more sticky than Leroy.
Right.
Talking of sticky, this taunt minion is going to be a big one.
Holy smokes, yeah.
We're going to see another Leroy plow into a minion for the 2nd game in a row.
We might. Yeah, you go face.
Yeah, disable that weapon. Just put them so low that they're scared of dying to your burst.
The read is there a Vile Spine or not? The coin hasn't been used. There was an opportunity to coin Vile Spine on a Tar Creeper earlier. There's even an opportunity to coin Vile Spine there.
Yeah.
So I'd say the read is there's no Vile Spine. So I think this is maybe a little overly defensive by Galen. But the board is picking up. Wow.
There's a Vile Spine.
There's a Vile Spine now. All right, well, it works out for him then. Good read. Yeah, I think he's just saying, like, if a top deck Vile Spine comes out and I do Soulfire, probably still win anyway. If he wouldn't have Soulfired there, this top deck Vile Spine would have blown him right out of the water.
There's a Deadly Poison deckhand Vile Spine clear if he wants it.
Yeah, he wants it. Doesn't have a lot of life to work with here. I think you got to take every point you can get.
Yeah, 7's not the worst number when you've seen all those cards go.
There's a Doomguard and a Soulfire left.
And that's it for attacks now from the dagger, apart from to the face, which is a nice place to put it. Get to work on the Zoo's health total, so they have to slow down too.
Doubling Imp's good. Doubling Imp goes wide. Doomguard's better.
Doomguard is big.
There is no life drinkers in the build for Galen, so it's just the Soulfire. Wow, Giggling Adventure's a good one to get here.
The race is on.
Yeah. Will he find the Soulfire in time? One of Soulfire. Over halfway through his deck, maybe. Maybe a little less than half.
Once, but he's dead next turn.
Yeah, it's got to be now.
Can he find it? Can he not find it? Not much else to say about it. If you're a Galen fan, you need a Soulfire right now, or it is over for this tournament.
It's going to be it. Oh, wait. A taunt. Maybe he gives himself a little bit more time.
We both have to lean forward, but they're...
You can buff 5. It looks like he's still alive, right? The Leroy, 6, 7, 8, 9,
I'm
10,
looking
11.
Fungal SI. It's close.
He's 1 damage off of lethal this turn. Wow.
That was a pickup. Now he gets 2 more goes at Soulfire, at least.
Yeah. It's a big deal. 2 more chances to make something happen here.
Oh, he only gets 1 more chance. He can't tap.
Oh, he set him down to 2. Oh, he's trading.
Oh, he could have, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this.
No, he would have went down to 3. He would have went down to 3. Right?
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, he would have went down to 3.
Okay, that's very different.
Yeah.
Then you trade. Trying again.
Is that the Soulfire?
That looked like the headset coming off to me.
No Soulfire.
Wow, we 3-0 in double quick time.
Yeah.
Did you get a rest, Cora?
It's a good thing that I didn't. We've got some pretty comfy couches in the back of the production area, as Firebat has come to know, and Blinken, you might have missed that one, so it's a good thing that I decided to stay up. Nothing more to say about that. Odd Rogue absolutely taking that series in the blink of an eye.
That second game, Firebat, it just looked like he was dumpstered, nothing in his hand, but because we thought the removal was good for the Warrior, and it was, but because he couldn't actually bother to deal with 1/1s, because why would you?
I think he was overly patient. I think his hand was so good. With double Super Collider, the shield slams, all this sort of stuff, he could have played that a lot safer than he did. He could have just shield slammed that Vile Spine, and then the next minion that comes out, set up the Super Collider, do whatever, and just play it by removing a lot more aggressively than he did. He wanted a lot more value out of his cards, and I think it was a mistake to do that. With how strong his hand was, he could have played it safer.
It's kind of a shame. We expect really great things from Galen. I think that that is certainly the exception to the rule. He's a really talented player, and he hasn't been on stream, I don't think, this entire tournament.
He's not been on much. He's crept through off stream. That doesn't help. Yeah,
you get up there for the first time, so much on the line. There's a spot in the finals waiting, and you know, unfortunately, sometimes it kind of gets to be a little bit too much. Maybe that's what happened here.
And it did look like he was under massive stress on 2 or 3 of those terms. I mean, all Hearthstone players do that in their rooms at home anyway, but after a while, you see how Saiyan's posture is. He's just like, well, thinking.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Galen started standing straight up, kind of leaning back in his chair that game, and by the end of it was almost hunched completely over. So, you know, the pressure is getting to him as it was going. I think that game, though, like 90% of the ways that the draws pan out, or even more than that, Galen comes out on top with the line that he took. It's just that when your hand is that good, you can play around that other 10%, you know?
Well, it's unfortunate for Galen. He cannot get down on himself because the top 4 finish at a DreamHack is an incredible result. But we are going to be seeing Saiyan versus Fino in the finals. Let's check out Saiyan's run, how exactly he got to this point. Of course, we played 9 rounds of Swiss. And then it was a cut to top 16. So for Fino, he had to defeat level 9001. Then we saw him today with a 3-2 victory over Yarla, and finally a 3-2 victory over Impact. A lot of close series for him, but ultimately Fino has not lost a match yet in this entire tournament. Saiyan had a little bit of a rougher go of it, but a 3-0 sweep over Tare in the top 16.
Tour stop winner, Tare.
Yeah, you can't forget about that. Tare won HCT Oakland. A 3-2 victory over Hunterace.
2 tour stop winners and more besides.
Yeah, and now the 3-0 victory over Gallon.
Future tour stop winner.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe bet. I think we can definitely say that about Gallon, but for Justsaiyan, will he get that Tour Stop Championship title now, or will it be Fino? 2 of the best players in the world, 2 of the best players in DreamHack history are going to be battling it out for the DreamHack Montreal Hearthstone Grand Prix Championship title for 2018. This is going to be a phenomenal finals.
It surely is, and I'm not going to. Don't look at me as if to say who you think is going to win it. I'm not. I'm doing the call.
Oh no, we're going to do that. We're
no.
going to take a little break, and then we'll come back, and then I'll ask you that question.
And I'm still going to take.
And I'll expect an answer.
No, it's not happening.
We'll see about that. But we are going to take a brief break here. We got to give Saiyan a chance to cool down, check out Fino's deck list, and when we come back, our DreamHack champion will be crowned. Will it be Tempo Storm Justsaiyan or Fade to Karma's Fino? Stick around because you're going to want to find out.